At the heart of social work is empowering others. And that's why NASW advocates for social workers like you. Whether it's helping you to advance your career, protect your practice, connect with colleagues, or amplify your voice for the causes you care about, NASW has you covered. We keep you on track to make the most of your career and offer discounts on continuing education, scholarly publications, and conferences to help you stay current in the profession. We help you protect your practice with free legal and ethics consultations, HIPAA resources, discounted liability insurance, risk management education, and code of ethics training. NASW keeps you connected with social workers nationwide, with local and national in-person events and online communities. We advocate for you in the workforce and on behalf of clients, communities, and society on social justice issues. Grow and thrive with NASW.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome to all of our Michigan social workers, all 200 of you. So exciting to have you all here. Welcome to our inaugural State of the Association. And before we begin, let's begin with our land acknowledgement. We would like to recognize the people of the Potawatomi, Ottawa, I said that wrong, Potawatomi, Ottawa, Ojibwa, Chippewa, Miami, and Huron tribes on whose land we are gathered, wherever we may be located in Michigan. The name Michigan itself is derived from the Chippewa word Michigama, meaning large water or large lake, hence the state's favorite nickname. These communities are indigenous to this land, which means that this is their ancestral territory. Every building we dwell on is built on stolen native land. We all are guests on their land, and one way we all may begin to practice correct relations is to develop genuine ways to acknowledge the histories and traditions of the people who originated here first, who are still here, and who tend to the land always. As we make this land acknowledgement, we know it is but an important first step, and that there are many more that we as social workers need to take when we decide to engage in the important work of social work. Welcome to all of you. I am so pleased to have all of you here. Dwayne, why don't we take this slide off for a sec, and then we can come bring it back on at the very end so that we can just do speaker view. My name is Fatima Salman. I'm the president of the board of the NASW Michigan. We're happy to have all 205 of you here tonight on this event. Really excited about these numbers. And I'm sure there's many reasons why you all came on tonight. It could be because you're curious about the organization, you're hoping to hear what benefits we offer you. I'm sure that the CE that was offered today was a good way to get everybody on too, which is not a problem. And it's my hope that we can answer all the questions that you have tonight about NASW Michigan and get you motivated working alongside us as well. This is your organization, and I'm gonna stress that, and we're gonna hear it over and over again, but we are here for you. You know, I was interviewed earlier this week about professional organizations. And the question that I was asked was, why is it important to be a part of your professional organization? And my answer was that professional organizations are out there for our professional growth and development, for connecting with others in our field, creating bonds with colleagues and professionals throughout the state. We're here to support advocacy, access to ethics, consultants, continuing education. And honestly, that is what NASW Michigan does for all of us. Part of the mission of our chapter is to improve the quality of life for Michiganders. And truly, we are not an association that is only for ourselves, but we are out there for our clients and our communities in Michigan that you all serve. When I first joined this organization up until now, I get amazed and sometimes even overwhelmed by all the services that are offered for social workers. I actually get lost in all the acronyms sometimes and everything that's out there because there's so much. Our team at NASW Michigan, our staff is second to none, and our board, and they work tirelessly to ensure that social workers in Michigan are being taken care of, sometimes in ways that you don't even know about. From advocacy and lobbying to watching out for our professional examinations, NASW Michigan has our back. I welcome you all here tonight, whether you're a clinician, a macro social worker, a dean of a university, faculty from our wonderful institutions, a student, that's still about to embark on their career, or even the retired social workers that we have here tonight. Thank you all for coming. I hope that you leave this hour with being more informed about the different buckets of work that we participate in and find ways to get involved and stay connected. I'm going to give you some logistical little logistical things, some tech things. If you want to put something in the chat, feel free to. We're going to have a short question and answers at the end, but feel free to write questions in the chat. And Dwayne, let's put up the goals for tonight for those that are going to be trying to get CE credits. And also, of course, the question that always comes up is that this is going to be recorded and will be available on our website. The goals are summarize the hot button practice and policy issues affecting the social work profession in Michigan, describe the primary strategy that social work and social policy organizations will utilize when interfacing with the legislative system, give examples of how social workers in Michigan can get involved in leadership positions as well as advocate, and share strategic visions for all the collective social work movement. So finally, I want to hand over the Zoom mic to our wonderful, fabulous leader, Dwayne Brejak, who is the executive director of our organization. He hasn't been ED for that long, but he's been at NASW-Michigan for long enough. And his leadership is, I mean, it's just sometimes I get astounded by how amazing he is. So we want to thank you all for attending. I want to thank the staff and the board members that put this event together for tonight. You're going to hear a lot from all of them, from a lot of them tonight. And I'm going to give you the Zoom mic, Dwayne.
Thank you, Fatima, and thank you to all of our board for being here and for your support. As Fatima mentioned, I'm Dwayne Brejak. I'm your executive director for your chapter here in Michigan. We are one of the large chapters across NASW, which means there are 9 of us that are more than 5,000 members in our association, which are proud to have a huge social work community here in Michigan. I'm so thrilled that we are doing the State of the Association event tonight. We have been talking about it for months now, about kicking off something like this, because there's so much happening in the social work world, and not just here in Michigan, but nationally. And we want to make sure that our Michigan social workers are up to date on what's going on and how to be involved in a lot of that work that's happening. A little bit about NASW. For some of you might know some of this. Some of you, this will be brand new information, but NASW is the largest organization for social workers in the world. When you join NASW, you get a dual membership into the national organization as well as into a state chapter. So I know some of you on the call probably have moved to Michigan from other states. Welcome. We're glad to have any of our out-of-state folks here in Michigan. And that also helps you as you transition your practice across the country. We know that more and more people are doing telehealth or getting licenses across state boundaries, and having connections in those jurisdictions are particularly helpful. Our membership is over 100,000 members, with over 13,000 of those being student members. So one of the things that I talk to students a lot when I am out and about mingling is half of our title is social, right? We've chosen to be social workers, whether we're introverts, extroverts, or somewhere in between. And really that means we just have to be connected. And as a profession, I feel like one of the most important things we can do as a social community is be connected to one another, because it's not necessarily about who you know, but it's about who you know, who they know, that secondary network. How can we build each other up as we develop our social work field? There are 55 chapters across the United States, including Guam, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and an international chapter. So part of your membership dues are also supporting social work in every part of the United States, especially in places that don't have a lot of social workers, that are developing social work programs and are doing international and global work. All of your member dues are supporting that work all across the country. You are the social work community, so we know that there are things that are particularly important to you that we do our best to try to make sure that you have access to, which includes news and information. I'm sorry all the emails you received from me and the team, but we hope that they're helpful for your practice and your resource development. 2023 is going to be a year of some big advocacy work here in Michigan. You're going to hear from your Director of Public Policy a little bit later, Melina Brand, about some of those specific efforts. We'll also talk about some of the licensure and ASWB advocacy. I know some of you are also on tonight to hear about those updates. Career resources. Our workforce is changing. We're in a workforce shortage in a lot of parts of social work. We need your support in helping grow, expand, and support, more importantly, the social work workforce that exists out here. Ethics and legal guidance, malpractice. No one wants to talk about malpractice, but it's important that you have support if you ever find yourself in trouble in social work. And then lastly, building that professional network. How can we all make sure that we are putting that social in social work, whether that's attending an event like here today. And I highly recommend, folks, if you are comfortable dropping your LinkedIn's or your social media profiles in the chat box, get connected to each other as many ways possible. That's a nice free way to get connected to some other social workers here tonight. So while we're talking, feel free to drop those resources and your links into the chat box. We know that a lot of folks are working in organizations that are hiring social workers right now. One of the things I want to make sure folks know is we have the largest job database for social workers in the state of Michigan. If you're hiring, please post your jobs for free on our website, and we'll make sure these links also go into the chat today. You can review sample cover letters, resume, interview questions, especially this is helpful for students or folks who might be moving throughout their career. And we have lots of events and other resources to help guide you throughout your career. As Fatima mentioned, we have a small and mighty team that are working on all of your behalf. It's funny, sometimes when I talk to groups of social workers and I ask, how many staff do you think are at the chapter office? I'll hear 100, 150. No, there's 7 of us, 6 right now. Your membership director, Kaylin, is currently out on maternity leave. We look forward to seeing her back in about a month from now. But we've got a team of 7 plus 3 interns currently who are really working to elevate your voices and support you in any way that we can. We also have an amazing board of directors. You've met Fatima already, but we have a 19-person board of directors, several of which who you're going to hear from tonight. Now we kind of have a packed agenda here for you today. So I'm going to turn it over so you'll meet one of our board members next, Kendra Dixon, who is our regional representative for Region 11. Before I do that, sorry, I will just give you couple of quick updates from the national level. There's a lot happening both here in Michigan, but also nationally for social work. As an association, we're going to have a new CEO come next month. Morgan State University professor Anthony Eastreet will be taking over the CEO position as of February 6th. We hope to invite him to some Michigan events so our Michigan community can get to know him and our needs as a state. If you are a student on the call, we invite you to our National Student Series, which happens every month, the second Thursday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Our next also student-focused event, but it is also open to anybody who's looking for a job. We have our virtual career fair next week from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. That is open and free for anybody to join. So if you are looking for a job or just looking to shop around, that's a great opportunity to explore some positions all across the country. Our national office puts out new practice updates all the time. They've just sent out a couple this week. So make sure to review your emails. You may see them come as member link is usually how the national emails will come through. And then later this year, we will have updates for the Code of Ethics and the NASW policy positions up for review. We want to make sure as our professional guideposts are updated that our Michigan community has a chance to weigh in on those discussions, because those Code of Ethics and those policies impact us as much as anyone else in the country. So as soon as those positions come up for public comment, please look out for an email from myself or Melina to add your voice to those discussions. And we also want to celebrate you all as social workers. You're all doing some fabulous things out in the field, and often we don't get recognized for the work that we are doing in the field. March is coming up soon. We hope you will celebrate Social Work Month in a formal way at your organizations, and then informally with your coworkers and your colleagues and your social work mentors. This year's theme is Social Workers Break Barriers. There's lots of tools available at socialworkmonth.org if you're looking for some extra guidance. And we'll talk about some more resources a little bit later. But I would like to introduce you all to our Region 11 rep, Kendra Dixon, who's going to talk a little bit about how to get involved in local work with the association.
Thank you so much, Dwayne. I am Kendra Dixon, Region 11 representative for Wayne County, and I am the liaison between the Board of Directors and the Region 11 members. I am accessible on Facebook under the NASW-Michigan Region 11 network. I want to encourage you to consider becoming a region representative. You need no previous experience, but you need to be willing and ready to learn. You already have skills and talents as therapists, case managers, and those skills are relevant for this position. I never saw myself in this role, and frankly, I did not want to run for this office. I tried to talk myself out of running, but I felt an inner calling and I wanted to step up and lead. We need you to step up and lead. Do not let fear be your excuse. There is support and assistance available to build you up as a leader. There are many benefits as a region rep leader, and one of them is the opportunity to work with lawmakers, design programming and CE events, collaborate with Michigan social work leaders, and grow your sphere of influence. For example, this past Tuesday, I hosted a human trafficking awareness presentation featuring the Sanctum House in Oakland County with my colleagues from regions 8 and 2. We were all impacted by the updates and technical information received. We earned free 1.5 CEs for NASW members, and we were inspired by the powerful testimony from a current Sanctum House resident who is thriving and has taken her life back. I am having fun, learning and growing. And just to think, I almost missed out on this opportunity because of the fear of the unknown. So consider becoming a region representative. It is a 3-year commitment, and it takes 1 to 3 hours of my time weekly, give or take. We make time for what we really want to do, so this is no different. It is definitely doable and is a great professional move as a social work leader. Now, if you are a Region 11 member, or if you'd like to join our network, I want to hear from you. So after the meeting tonight, I'm going to have a survey available. Please check out the survey. Thank you so much for your time. And now I'm going to pass the mic over to my colleague, Judith Krause, who is a Region 1 representative, and she's ready to share with you.
Hi, everybody. I am Judy Krause. I'm your Region 1 rep. I cover the UP of Michigan. That is above the bridge. I have been in this position for more than 3 years, and I'm ready to give it up. It has been wonderful to be part of NASW. I have actually been part of NASW for almost 30 years up in Region 1, and I have attended many conferences, state and local. I am currently working with putting on continuing ed credit forums once a month. Those are in person at this time, but they should be up and running virtual within the next couple of months. By the time I'm done in June, which is when my term will be up, and I am looking for people to come in and take my place. It's time to have some new blood in social work. Some of the continuing ed credits that we've had up here have been in criminal justice, the juvenile justice system. We've had CEUs on self-care, substance use disorders, trauma, pain management, boundaries, self-care, anxiety, depression. There's just been a lot. We've just started doing the CEUs again this past in 2022 because we were shut down due to the pandemic. But before that, we were doing them every month for several years. And anyone who wants to be involved, please let me know. I do have a Facebook page for Region 1. It is Region 1, NASW Region 1. Anybody who wants to be on that page, just go to Facebook, NASW Region 1. And I'm going to turn it over to the next person who is our one of our student reps. That would be Matt Dargay.
Hi, everybody. Thank you very much, Judy. I apologize. I'm going to turn my camera on in just a second, but I know we have a lot to cover. I don't want to waste any time, so I'm just going to launch right into my spiel. So hi, everyone. As Judy mentioned, my name is Matt Dargay, and I am the Master's Student Representative for the NASW of Michigan. I've been in this position for a little around 6 months, and I have about 6 months left. It's a 1-year term. So I definitely want to encourage any social work students watching tonight to run for this position if you want to get involved. And so the reason why I got involved in the first place was through my involvement in activism towards expanding paid social work field placement opportunities. And there's my camera. Expanding paid social work field placement opportunities. I connected with Dwayne actually probably about a year ago at this point, and it just became immediately apparent to me that if you want to get involved as a student and help influence the direction of the profession, you have to get involved in NASW. That is what we do. And we do this not just for incumbent professionals, but also for social work students, because we recognize that students are only going to be students for a short period of time. After that 13 to maybe 24 months, you become the next social worker. So we recognize that any students in the audience of the social work students, or pardon me, are the social workers of the future. And we want to improve the student experience in a myriad of ways. So for instance, NASW has partnered with Payment for Placements, the group that I founded last year, to advocate successfully for a paid student placement opportunity funded through the state school aid fund at the state level for students who are specifically training to be school social workers. Additionally, we have begun, as Dwayne and others will tell you, advocating before the Board of Social Work to reform the licensing process due to the ASWB's exam being discriminatory. And at present, we're also working on legislative advocacy related to insurance portability, expanding telehealth, reimbursement, and things like that. So if you want to get involved in the profession and change it for the better, I recommend any student in the audience to please join NASW, join the Legislative and Policy Committee, that's LSP. And I encourage any folks in the audience who are not currently students to reach out to the social work students in their life and encourage them to do the same. We are only as strong as the size of our membership. The more people who get involved and add their voices to the chorus of change, the better it'll be and the better shot we have of improving the social work student experience for everyone. So with that, I think I will move things on to the wonderful president of our organization, Ms. Fatima Salman, who will be going through our organization's strategic plan.
Thank you, Matt. Matt's term is ending soon. He was only with us for 1 year, and I can't begin even telling you, as a student rep, the leadership and the wisdom that Matt has shown us. And as he starts his career, nothing but the best for Matt. And I'm positive, Matt, that we're going to be seeing you more in the social work world and in the Michigan something. I'm positive. So thank you. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what it is that we are planning for NASW-Michigan for the remainder of my term. And when I became president-elect, one thing that was really important for all of us is to really understand what you all want from your organization as we developed our strategic plan. And what we did is we surveyed all of you to figure out what you wanted. And I don't know if you received it or did fill it out, but we surveyed you all, and we got about 180 of you that responded. And with that, we filtered all the survey results. And with that is how we came up with our strategic plan for the year. And I hope that that's a plan that's a practice that we continue as the years move on to really, get member feedback and use that as our vision and goals as we move forward. So 2 things that did come up in the surveys is that, there's people were asking questions, and what we realized is that a lot of the things that people wanted, we actually were already doing. And so one thing that's our commitment to you is to really improve our communication with you. And that's one of the reasons we're having this tonight. We want to make sure that you know what is going on, whether it's through social media, for those who don't use social media, whether it's emailing your regional reps, getting on our listserv. There's going to be a whole thing at the end on how to get connected. So we want to make sure that we tell you and we let you know what is out there. And the other thing that's very critical, and so these 2 things, these 2 areas are run through our entire strategic plan. It's like every single thing is founded on these two things. So improved communication and advanced racial justice and anti-racism. And we all know that as social workers and at NASW-Michigan, we are committed to addressing systemic racism, including in the field of social work. So that's critical and paramount to us. Next slide, Wayne. Our plan, it has 5 bucket areas, and the 5 bucket areas is membership, policy advocacy, anti-racism leadership, resource security, and workforce development. And actually, every single one of these circles is going to be discussed today by either a board member or a staff member. The only 2 that I really want to focus on is anti-racism leadership. Last month at our board meeting, I had told our board that, we can talk about anti-racism in the state and promoting anti-racist policies and actions within our social work organizations and membership, but it has to come internally first. We have to live it and practice it first. And so one thing that we're doing as a board is we're going to all be taking, we're all going to be going through a pretty intensive anti-racism program that we hope also many of your organizations or you too would be able to take. Also, we also are committed to workforce development. That's the second thing I wanted to talk about. And that's going to be discussed more in a little bit with Adam. This is something that came up over and over again. Workforce development, wage rates, salaries of social workers, all these things. And we hear it. We hear it ourselves, and even us that are working in the field, we know it, right? And so this is something that we are also very committed to. We began a workforce development committee, task force, essentially. I'm not going to say that we can start even solving or even beginning to solve the problems until my term ends, but we are starting this process. We have a committee going, we're meeting. And if there are any of you on this call, on this Zoom tonight that want to be a part of it, let us know. The rest of the you can read it on our website. Yeah, thanks, Ling. And one of the most important aspects for me, and also part of our strategic plan for the remainder of my term, is that we want to hear from all of you. Whether you're in a region that's filled with social workers or doesn't have that many, we need to know what your needs and struggles and goals are. We heard from you as we developed our strategic plan. We want to keep on hearing from you. Now I want to let you, I'm going to pass it over to Melina Brand, who is our Director of Policy and Advocacy for NASW-Michigan. And she has a recorded video with us tonight. And you are going to hear about one of our buckets of our strategic plan and one of our most important things that we do at NASW-Michigan.
Hi everyone, I am Melina Brand, your Director of Policy and Advocacy for NASW-Michigan. 2023 is shaping up to be a great year legislatively here in Michigan. We have 6 social workers in the legislature, that is the most in the state's history. In the Senate, we have Stephanie Chang and Ruth Johnson, and in the House, we have Carrie Reingans, Felicia Brabeck, Betsy Coffia, and Kim Edwards. Congratulations to our elected social workers. We have already hit the ground running with our legislative priorities for the year with an introduction of a bill aimed at creating insurance parity for behavioral health care, introduced by Senator Sarah Anthony. Our other top priorities for this legislative year include expanding telehealth access and parity, expanding emergency services Medicaid, ensuring paid social work internships, creating DHHS caseload standards, and integrating behavioral health into primary care settings. While I am working hard on the process of getting these things started, I will need your help. Personal contact and stories from social workers in the field and on the ground are so impactful when pushing legislation. Make sure you're signed up for our advocacy newsletters as well as our Legislative and Social Policy Committee. Advocacy alerts are also shared on our social media, so make sure you're following us there too. Our Legislative and Social Policy Committee is the place where we discuss our priorities and action plans. As a committee, we discuss policies that are coming up, things that we think might become issues, or members come with advocacy that they need help with. LSP meets every 3rd Friday at noon. Our next meeting is Friday, February 17th. You can register through the event link on the NASW-Michigan website. I also want to encourage you to become engaged with our Political Action Committee, MPACE. MPACE works to get social workers and social work friendly candidates elected. This past year, MPACE endorsed over 40 candidates, most of which won their elections. MPACE meets the first Monday of the month at noon, and our next meeting is Monday, February 6th. Social work is political. Social justice is the foundation of our profession, and legislation and funding affect almost everything that we do as social workers. I look forward to seeing some new faces in committees this year, and have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you, Melina. 2023 really does look to be an exciting year for social work advocacy, not just because we have a record number of social workers in our legislature, but we should absolutely take pride in that. Melina and I were invited to the State of the State yesterday at the Capitol, which was an incredible experience. So many people. But one of the things that we were talking to some of our social workers about is like, we're almost the #1 profession that's represented in our legislature right now, which you wouldn't think as a general community, but it really shows the necessity for social workers in political arenas and how the micro, meso, and macro spaces really are related to policy work and how we need folks who have that clinical expertise and are working with clients on the ground to share and help us influence policies. You know, there's a lot of other things that Melina did not mention that we are working on, including reimbursement issues. We know some of you have been in contact with us around that. Social justice things, including expanding Elliott Larson, banning conversion therapy. There's a whole list of things. So if folks are interested in our legislative work, we absolutely would love for you all to join us in either our LSP or our political action committee. Now, I know one of the big topics that is really up in front right now is our licensure advocacy. This has been not just 6 months in the making, but several years. Michigan has had licensing for just under 20 years, and we were the very last state to get licensing in the whole United States. So we have had some time to learn over those last 19 years and figure out what's great, what needs some tweaking, and what really needs some tweaking. And the ASWB data release last fall just expedited our move towards some reform. This last Tuesday, myself and Dean Cheryl Kubiak from Wayne State School of Social Work presented to the Michigan Board of Social Work and to some LARA staff about our proposed changes. This came out of hundreds of conversations with you all in the field over the last decade, as well as our community conversations in the last couple of years, meetings with LARA folks, the Board of Social Work, the schools of social work, and our community partners. So just to give a brief overview, and then if we have time at the end, if folks have some specific questions as related to this, we'd be happy to answer. So we're proposing the licensure level be moved to 3 options. The licensed bachelor social worker, LBSW, which would only require a completion of a bachelor's degree from a CSWE accredited institution, no examination. The second level and the initial master's level option would be LMSW, the licensed master social worker. This would also only require a master's degree from a CSWE accredited school. This aligns with what many of you have been seeing in other states nearby, like Illinois, Rhode Island, and many other states across the country are moving this direction as this legislative cycle starts. The LMSW level would also incorporate the advanced generalist license, which we have currently. Anybody who would be currently licensed at that level would be grandparented in, but it would not require an examination to practice. So this level would be for anybody who would be non-independently practicing or not billing yourself as a social worker. So we know that there's lots of master's folks who work in non-traditional settings, in macro roles, in clinical roles where maybe you're not billing. This would be that level. For folks who are independently practicing or are billing, then we would still have the licensed clinical social worker. However, our letters would look a little bit different. We would have the LCSW, which would align with most other states' acronyms. And so we know that that's also something that we've heard year after year is, can we get our acronyms to line up with many of the other states? For now, that process would remain similar to what we have had over the last 19 years, where you would have to graduate, get work experience under supervision, and pass either a nationally recognized exam or an alternative competency measure. NASW has been working with the deans and directors to explore alternative competency measures. And so we know that that is really a critical step in this and is likely probably 2 or 3 years out, but we want to be moving in that direction. What this will also do is one of the barriers we've had in Michigan is our limited license only having 6-year renewal options. By having the LMSW level, somebody would be able to practice at a master's level position, regardless of the ability to pass the clinical exam while that's in place. We want to eliminate barriers wherever possible for folks to be able to practice in our field. And until we can create that alternative pathway, this is seemingly the best option forward going right now. We also have some advocacy asks for our Board of Social Work and the licensing department towards ASWB. Some of the more immediate ramifications of the exam, any sort of immediate action has to come from the Association of Social Work Boards, which is not NASW. So we unfortunately do not have any control of this, which is why we are asking our Board of Social Work to do some advocacy. The things that we are asking for is that ASWB waive or significantly reduce all retesting fees for social workers who wish or need to retest. We are also advocating and looking at alternative options, like Oregon just got governor funded money to pay for examination fees through 2024. I don't know if that will be an option in Michigan, but we are trying to put everything on the table while we have some momentum around this. We want to make the practice exams available for free for all social workers who need to take the exam, to immediately remove the requirement that work hours be completed before candidates are eligible to sit for the exam. And many of you will know that this changed a couple of years ago because states were out of compliance with ASWB regulations, but we would like that policy be reversed. We are asking that ASWB release Michigan-specific de-identified data for all questions so that our board can do an independent evaluation. And that ASWB review passing scores and look at expanding the pass range by several questions. One of the things that we, and I know many of you have heard of or maybe experienced, as we hear from folks that have failed the exam by 1, 2, or 3 questions. So we think it's important for ASWB to review that, have that data be transparent so we can move forward as a field. The timeline for this is really important, and especially as you're talking to your social work community, if you're in mentoring roles. This is likely a year or multi-year process. So our current licensure process will remain in place until we can get legislative support to pass our asks. So that will be the biggest initial goal over the next several months, is to continue to build legislative coalitions. Melina, myself, and our lobbyists, as well as our Vice President of Policy, Michael West, who couldn't join us today, have been working to already meet with legislators in this new session to find support and sponsors for our licensure package. We will have to work internally with Laura and the governor's office to make sure any licensure changes also sync with our regulation and our statute. So when, and I will say when, these policies get passed through legislation, it will likely take anywhere from 6 months to a year for them to be implemented at the state level. So we know that this is going to be a process that will take some time. We are committed to making it work and making sure that changes that you all have told us are critical happen. So please be on the lookout and check your emails for communication on this as we build that legislative support. And I see there's some questions coming through, so we'll hopefully get to some of those at the end of today. I want to make sure we can get through the rest of the time and the topics we have for you all today. But this is a really critical moment for social work in terms of figuring out how do we reduce those barriers and make sure that more people are in our field. If you haven't gotten the chance to review the ASWB data yourself, I highly recommend that social workers, everyone looks through that information, because it is really eye-opening and it has confirmed what we've heard anecdotally for years, that there is huge pass rate disparities in our exam. And, social work is somewhat leading in this by having our data be transparent nationally. No other health profession has visible data like we do. So it will likely push the narrative for many other fields to start looking more exclusively at their exam and look at potential alternative pathways to licensure. So I know this is a really hot topic for all of us right now. Our staff, Fatima talked about some of the behind the scenes work that we do for you all. We were in minimum of 100 meetings on this between August and January. So this has been the issue in social work. I mean, we had meetings long before then, but it really ramped up over the last couple of months. The other thing that's tied to this that you'll want to keep aware of is the social work compact. We want to make sure that portability remains a high priority for social work, especially at the clinical level, as more and more folks are transient and you need to get licensed across state boundaries. So that is another issue that we are working on nationally, is a social work compact or an alternative pathway, whether it ends up not being the compact. So thank you all for listening to a lot of information in a short amount of time about this really important topic. We will have other forums specifically about this for folks to be engaged, but we hope that you will also join us for our LSP, which is where all of the advocacy work will be driven around our licensure process. So I'm going to turn it over now to two fabulous social workers, our co-chairs of our Social Justice and Anti-Racism Committee, Sarah and Dominique.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the 2023 NASW-Michigan State of the Association. My name is Dominique Golden.
And my name is Sarah Bazidlo, and we are the co-chairs of the NASW-Michigan Social Justice and Anti-Racism Committee.
The Social Justice and Anti-Racism Committee is a grassroots effort created by Michigan social workers following the murder of George Floyd. There was a strong desire to cultivate a space for dialogue and to generate sustainable change and strive for a structured justice across the field of social work. Every aspect of the committee, including vision, mission, and goals, were created by committee members. The goal of the Social Justice and Anti-Racism Committee is to deconstruct, disrupt, and dismantle racism within the social work profession in Michigan.
Thus far, the committee's key accomplishments include developing the committee purpose statement and values to guide our efforts, generating anti-racist principles, which were adopted by the NASW-Michigan Chapter Board of Directors and integrated into the chapter strategic plan, and creating the first NASW-Michigan Implicit Bias Conference, which drew social workers from 8 to 10 different states, including the state of Michigan.
All social workers are welcome and encouraged to participate in the Social Justice and Anti-Racism Committee. As a committee, we devote ourselves to doing this work so that it is woven into the fabric of who we are and what we do personally and professionally. All committee members strive to set higher standards for how we conduct ourselves and interact in our world each day.
The Social Justice and Anti-Racism Committee meets on the second Tuesday of each month from 5:30 to 7 p.m. via Zoom. To join an upcoming committee meeting, please visit the NASW Michigan website at nasw-michigan.org and click on the calendar tab to register. We look forward to seeing you. Now we would like to hand it over to Mary Matson, Vice President of Finance.
Hello all, it's great to be with you tonight. Thanks for all this great information that everyone's pulled together. I want to just say a couple words about sustainability and growing as a chapter. As you've heard from everyone who's spoken already, NASW Michigan is up to a lot. There's so much going on in all the activities, all these strategies that you're hearing, the initiatives, committees that are underway to support our members, but also more broadly to advance change and equity in our sector. It's all supported and organized by this team of 7 and our volunteer board of directors. It is certainly a small but mighty team. And over the last couple of years, we've expanded our work. So there's more CE offerings, we're investing more in political advocacy work, we're expanding committees, as you've heard a little bit about, amongst other topics. And we're able to do this financially, primarily because of our membership revenue, but also because Dwayne and his team has been creative and innovative about applying for and receiving grants that supported this work in a more diverse way. And so these are our two primary revenue streams. And I want to put an emphasis on membership that allows us to do that. And just a note on membership, our members receive a lot of benefits being connected to this network, receiving free and discounted CEUs, amongst other things. But I want to just emphasize that it's just more expansive than that. And as you think about why you are a member here and how you communicate that to others, and think about what you're getting out of this, but also what NASW is doing for our field. And what pulled me into this work was really seeing the level of advocacy at the state and local level that we're involved in. We have a powerful voice at our Michigan legislative, and we represent and speak for the changes that we desperately need in our field. And so I think about my membership as getting a lot of great benefits, but also investing in this larger system level work that's just so vital to the sustainability of our sector and the people that do this important work. All of you all who are here today, all of us. And so on that note, I want to hand it over to Adam, who is going to talk a little bit about workforce development and equitable working conditions.
Hey everyone, I'm Adam Cecil, Region 10 Board Representative, which covers Jackson, Monroe, Lenawee, Washtenaw, and Hillsdale counties. I live in Washtenaw County. I co-founded Social Service Workers United of Southeast Michigan, which is a group dedicated to advocating for better social work working conditions. And I previously co-led a social work labor movement at St. Joe's Ann Arbor, which resulted in a higher and unified pay scale for all social workers that was rolled out to all 8 Trinity Health hospitals, and with some social workers seeing up to a $6 an hour raise. So fitting that tonight, I'll talk about why our working conditions are a problem, the work that is being done by the NASW on this issue, and the work that needs to be done by all of us. So why is our working conditions a problem? Well, first of all, like Fatima said, it was identified in our survey that a lot of social workers would like to see the NASW focus on wages and working conditions, that we find our work unsustainable. The average burnout rate for a social worker is 8 years, which really impacts not only our lives, but our clients' lives as we go through turnover. We have some forces against us. We are a broad, caring-based, female-dominated field. So we're at multiple intersections of wage oppression, and conventional marketplace principles like increased demand mean increased wages don't seem to apply to us, because we know there's plenty of demand for our services, but it doesn't always mirror wage growth. Similar fields to ours that require an education that are female dominated and caring based, like nursing and teaching, have largely embraced unionization to push back against, whether it be wage oppression or broken marketplace dynamics, and we have not. And so we're trying to move the needle forward on improving our working conditions. Now, the work that is being done by the NASW includes advocating for pro working conditions policies like paid student internships, which we've seen some movement on, expanding loan repayment programs, increasing reimbursement rates for therapy and other services, and fighting against racist and ageist tests that we have with the ASWB. And it was even said earlier tonight that the NASW in 2023 will be pushing for caseload caps in CMH. So these are all very exciting things. They have an active legislative committee, which is going to be working on legislation as well. So what is the work that needs to be done? Well, all levels of the social work world, from the NASW to schools of social work, to managers in social work, and to frontline social workers, need to embrace a spirit of labor organizing and talking about and normalizing our wages and working conditions. Many of us, at least I have found when I had conversations with social workers, are kind of sitting and waiting for someone somewhere to save them, to improve our working conditions. And unfortunately, it's not going to happen. That's not the model we believe in as social workers. We believe in participating, engaging to have the world we want, to see the change that we want in the world. So that is why the NASW is forming a committee on our working conditions and workforce. Dwayne will be emailing out a link after the meeting to see who's interested. We're looking for people that are passionate about this issue, passionate about working conditions, passionate about wages, caseload sizes, improving our workforce. So I encourage you to sign up for that once you get the email link. And lastly, I just want to say I can speak from personal experience that most of the power exists in a group of social workers coming together at their individual workplace to organize for change. But with that being said, social work managers or institutions like the NASW, Schools of Social Work, can make organizing for change a lot easier or harder. And this chapter wanted to send a strong signal tonight that we are here to do our part to make organizing for social work change at the workplace and elsewhere more effective and easier. So it's time we value ourselves like we encourage our clients to do, and model the self-worth that we encourage others to have. So thanks for letting me speak tonight. And with that said, I'll turn over to Danielle, our education coordinator.
Hello and good evening. If we haven't had the pleasure of meeting before, my name is Danielle Haskin. I use she, her, hers pronouns, and I am the education manager at NASW-Michigan. I wanted to share a few updates with you in regards to our events and trainings, as well as to bring your attention to some of the educational opportunities we have coming up, especially our annual conference in May. Some fun stats to share. In 2022, NASW-Michigan provided 160 opportunities to engage with other members and social workers in Michigan through a work group, committee, lunch series presentation, town hall conversation, CE webinars, the SUD workforce series, our certificate programs, the student series, our virtual conferences, and everything in between. This doesn't include the opportunities provided by the national office or other state NASW chapters. Through those events, members were able to earn 41 free CE credits in 2022. In total, 19 ethics credits were offered, with 13 of those ethics CEs being free. A wonderful benefit to our members and future members. I would like to share a few exciting specialized training opportunities that are on the horizon. Only a few spots remain in our February cohort of the Certificate in Core Supervision, where you can become a certified social work supervisor. The on-demand modules will be emailed to attendees on February 10th, and then folks have 2 weeks to complete those on-demand modules before showing up to the live virtual training with the presenters on February 24th. 10 CE credits with 5 ethics credits. There's limited space, so I recommend signing up as soon as possible. The same is true for the clinical concerns and gender identity certificate program, 9 to 4:30 each day on February 10th and 11th, 12 CE credits, including 5 ethics and 2 pain management. For our students and emerging professionals, we have our Licensure Exam Institute for those that are preparing to take one of the ASWB licensure exams. We will offer this again in June. Limited seating is available. And for a general overview of the social work licensure process in Michigan, Dwayne will provide a webinar on February 27th. This is free and open to all, so you can RSVP on our community calendar on the website. The big event this year is our 2023 annual conference. This will be offered as a hybrid conference, both virtual and in-person options. Folks that gather in person will do so at the Radisson Plaza Hotel in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Laura Neeson is one of our featured keynote speakers. She is a social work futurist and will be helping us envision and create an action plan for building the future of social work practice in Michigan. Other conference highlights include folks that participate both days, regardless of whether hybrid or in person, can earn up to 13 CE credits. The conference will also feature a student summit where you can get a professional headshot and networking and career opportunities. There will be an authors table featuring authors from our very own Michigan social work community, including our other featured keynote speaker, Leslie King, a survivor, advocate, and speaker in the human trafficking space. We will have lots of sponsors and exhibitors present with resources, job opportunities, as well as swag, giveaways, and all the fun stuff. So please mark your calendars for May 4th and 5th. Groups wishing to exhibit or sponsor can sign up with me. Conference registration will be open soon, so please watch your email and our social media channels for conference registration information and updates. And before I hand it back over to Dwayne and Fatima, I wanted to take a moment to thank you for the many ways that you contribute to our educational programming, whether that's through signing up to attend, liking our posts on social media, giving us helpful feedback in the evaluations, and allowing us to lift up your voices to lead these trainings. You are the experts. You are our connection to the real life practice concerns that social workers face every day. So please know that we are always welcome. We are always welcoming your feedback on how to improve the trainings that we offer. And please feel free to reach out to me with questions and ideas. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Hello and good evening.
Thank you, Danielle. We've got such a great team of folks working for you all in Michigan. So if you haven't met your social work NASW staff, know that they are working hard every day for you. And if you need something, please reach out to myself or any one of them. Again, Kaylin will be out for another month. So if you reach out to her, you might be a little bit delayed in your response, but send me an email in the meantime. We've covered a lot here today, and I know this for folks, a lot of this might be new information. Some of it might be repeat for those of you who've been members for a while. So I just want to reiterate some of the specific ways that we need you all to get involved. And this does answer some of the questions that were in the chat. So we have a few positions on our board of directors that will be open come this year. New positions start in July. We have our president-elect position, regions 1, 3, 4, and 9. So that's the Upper Peninsula, the northeast side of the state, West Michigan, and Southwest Michigan. Our BSW and MSW student rep positions are 1-year term. Those will be open this year. And we have 1 member at large seat, which is also a 1-year term. You'll see applications for those soon. So please be on the lookout. We are bringing back awards for our conference this year, so please help us elevate some great social workers by nominating folks that you know are doing stellar work in the field. We'll be bringing a couple of new awards, including the Emerging Leader Award in Michigan, as well as Agency of the Year. So if you're working at a fabulous place that you think deserves some recognition, please submit a nomination for that. If you're interested in getting published in our annual or our quarterly newsletter, please feel free to reach out. We'd love to have more social work spotlights, or if you're doing research or have a cool new program at your organization, write for us. Like Danielle mentioned, and Judy and Kendra, we are always looking for regional support. If your agency can host us for an event, if you have a great presenter or are a great presenter, if you've got a new emerging area of social work, please reach out to our regional member. Lots of committees and task force, including new ones like our workforce committee. State and national advocacy. You get alerts from us pretty regularly. I think Melina's got an email coming out tomorrow, so be on the lookout for some legislative updates. And if you're a student looking for a macro level internship next year, we'd love to have you with the chapter at the chapter, so please reach out. Before we close, I want to put some of the ways you can connect with us. Social media is a great way to do that. If you're not already a part of the My NASW national community, this is a really great way for you to connect with people all across the United States. And that's when you just go to the national site, socialworkers.org. You'll see My NASW right at the top page. You can ask questions to the national audience, share resources, ask for advice. If you want to get connected to your regional Facebook events, everybody in the state has a regional Facebook page, so we would love to see all of those grow. Or call the office, 517-487-1548. And so as Fatima will give us some closing remarks, we will stay on to get some of the questions, but we know some folks are going to have to leave right here at 7. So if you do, thank you again for staying on with us. We will send out your evaluation. You'll see Danielle just dropped it into the chat. Thank you, Danielle, for putting the evaluation in there. If you would like continuing education for today, please fill out that CE evaluation and you'll automatically get your certificate. But with that, I will turn it over to Fatima and then we'll take a few questions.
Thank you, Dwayne. I think we can take the slides off. Thank you everyone for staying on. I think the marks of a good Zoom recording or Zoom webinar is always that everybody is still on and more. So all for getting on. I really appreciate it. You know, there's a lot of questions on licensure. Dwayne is going to stick around and answer as many as possible. We have been having town halls for the last few months, in fact, about licensure. And so I think, Dwayne, there's some recorded too. So that might be also another resource that we can send out to people. Just keeping in mind that the licensure stuff is, these are proposed changes, right? So none of those changes have happened. We'd be overjoyed if they all do happen, but those are proposed changes. And I just want to remind everybody that, you know, I knew that we would be going over, but I'm also proud of us. That was only 3 minutes over because we have so much to tell you guys. And I think you all realize that we are here for you. We are doing a lot for you. Reach out to us, get involved. You know, your support, your input, your voices are invaluable. You are what makes our organization running and with our goals. Activate the benefits of your membership and really join